There is a desert in southern Peru where someone drew a hummingbird the size of a football field, a spider, a monkey, a condor with wings stretching nearly 450 feet across, and they drew it all without ever being able to see what they were making. Because these images are only visible from the sky. Over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, 70 animals and plants, etched into one of the driest, most lifeless places on Earth. Nobody knows why they were made. Nobody knows how a civilization with no aircraft, no satellites, and no modern tools created designs so precise that they look like they were drawn by a compass. And in September 2024, scientists using artificial intelligence made a discovery that changed everything we thought we knew about this place. This is the story of the Nazca Lines, and after today, you will never look at the desert the same way again. The Nazca Lines are located in the Pampas de Jumana region of southern Peru, a stretch of barren desert plateau about 220 miles south of Lima. For thousands of years, nobody noticed them, not because they were hidden, but because from the ground, they look like nothing, just shallow scratches in the dirt, random paths going nowhere. It wasn't until the advent of modern aviation in the 1930s that the figures were properly identified, because it is impossible to truly see them at ground level. When pilots first flew over this desert and looked down, they were stunned. What looked like random scratches on the ground were actually enormous, perfectly formed animals, geometric shapes, straight lines stretching for miles without a single curve. The Nazca culture created these designs between 500 BCE and 500 CE, a civilization that thrived along the southern coast of Peru, known for its advanced understanding of engineering and artistic expression. They had no wheels, no iron tools, no written language that we know of, and yet they built one of the most precise open-air artworks in human history across 170 square miles of desert. The question that has haunted researchers ever since is simple. Why? Before we get to the theories, let's talk about what makes these lines genuinely terrifying from an engineering standpoint. Some figures exceed 200 meters in length, with impressive precision and scale that reflects the skill and ingenuity of the ancient Nazca culture. The longest straight lines run for over 30 miles, without a single deviation, no hills, no curves, just a perfectly straight line cutting across the desert like it was drawn with a ruler the size of a city. Modern surveyors have tested this. With today's equipment, GPS, laser levels, satellite guidance, replicating this precision is still considered difficult. The Nazca people had wooden stakes and rope, and here's the part that really doesn't make sense. The largest figures can only be seen and appreciated from an altitude of around 1,000 feet or higher. From the ground, they look like meaningless trenches. So who were they making this for? Themselves? Future generations? Something above? Or someone above? Researchers have proposed many explanations. Each one answers some questions. None of them answer all of them. The water theory. One leading theory holds that the lines were incorporated into ancient rituals, imploring the gods for rain. The Nazca Desert is one of the driest places on Earth. Water was survival. Some researchers believe the lines pointed toward underground water sources. A map of hidden rivers drawn into the Earth itself. Compelling, but it doesn't explain the giant animals. The astronomical theory. Some researchers believe the lines functioned as a massive astronomical calendar. Certain lines align with the rising and setting sun during solstices. Others point toward specific star clusters important to the Nazca people. An ancient observatory the size of a city, built into the ground itself. Possible. But again, why animals? Why a monkey? Why a spider? The sacred pathway theory. The latest research from Yamagata University suggests that these ancient markings served as epicenters of spiritual power, unifying multiple cultures between the coast and the highlands. They may have acted as signs directing travelers toward Kawachi, a major ceremonial hub for the Nazca civilization. Sacred roads, pilgrimage routes, a spiritual highway drawn into the desert. This is currently the most widely accepted scientific explanation. But then there is the theory that scientists refuse to officially consider, and the public refuses to forget. The alien theory. Swiss writer Erich von Däniken, in his 1968 book Chariots of the Gods, argued that the Nazca Lines were crafted by ancient beings as navigational aids and landing strips for spacecraft, and that the lines provided evidence of visits by extraterrestrial astronauts who shaped ancient civilizations. Mainstream archaeology dismisses this completely. But here is the uncomfortable truth. The Nazca Lines have been called the eighth wonder of the world, and the civilization that built them vanished completely around 700 CE. No one knows exactly why. No invasion on record. No natural disaster that fully explains it. They built something visible only from the sky, and then they disappeared. Now here is where this story takes a turn that even the ancient Nazca people could not have predicted. In September 2024, scientists made an announcement that stunned the archaeology world. Japanese researchers at Yamagata University, using artificial intelligence, uncovered 303 new geoglyphs hidden in the Nazca Desert, nearly doubling the total number of known figures in just 6 months. Think about that. It had taken nearly a century of human surveying to discover 430 figurative geoglyphs. Using AI, scientists found 303 more in only 6 months of fieldwork. The AI model detected faint soil contrasts that had escaped human surveyors for 100 years, processing satellite and drone datasets measuring several terabytes. Among the new discoveries, a 22-meter-long killer whale holding a knife, abstract humanoid figures, animals never seen before in this desert. Researchers estimate there could be as many as 250 additional geoglyphs still waiting to be found. We have been studying this place for a century, and we have only seen half of it. What else is hiding down there? What does the complete picture look like when every single line is finally revealed? And more importantly, what was the Nazca civilization trying to say? A civilization that vanished 1,300 years ago left behind a message so large it can only be read from the sky. They had no technology to see their own creation from above. They built it anyway. For 100 years, we searched for answers with human eyes and found 430 figures. In 6 months, a machine found 303 more, and there are still hundreds left to discover. Maybe the Nazca were mapping their world. Maybe they were praying to their gods. Maybe they were signaling to something we still refuse to believe in. Or maybe they knew something about our world that we have completely forgotten. The desert is still speaking. We are only just beginning to listen. If this made you think, drop it in the comments. And subscribe, because next video, we are going somewhere the history books pretend never happened.